I didn't see it posted. I seen December 1st. Yeah, put so a lot of work in this stuff, especially come to the digital. That might have. But we'll start with a Super 49. It's my goal. Oh, perfect. All right, Super 49, the action. All a meal. The action. 1. O you who believe. Let it be said, or Rakib, the watchful. The 43rd name of Allah, the infinite, the unique, the all-knowing. Every motion of wind, rain, sea, and air. Every movement of the world and the heavens. Every action of every living creature. All motion is governed by the laws of the universe, which Allah created in mind. Ooh, that's a beautiful one right there.
Ain't it?
All coming down to every motion.
Say the wind,
Yes.
the rain, and how it's been raining for the last couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
The sea
Mm-hmm.
and air.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, question to the people, do they control these things?
Uh-oh.
Do they control the elements, which way the wind blows?
Uh-oh. Mm-mm.
How much rain comes down?
Yes, indeed.
How much water was put in the sea?
Yes, indeed.
How much plentiful of oxygen and nitrogen and atmospheres of airs?
Yes, indeed.
And we ain't talking about just those. We talking about the world, the dunya.
Yes, indeed.
Every movement of the dunya
Mm-hmm.
and the buruj, the heavens.
Mm-hmm.
All this is action and it's moving, y'all.
Yes, indeed.
Who is in control?
Mm-hmm.
And it tells us that all laws are governed
Yes, indeed.
by motion. And motion is governed by the laws of the universe.
Ain't that beautiful?
Mm-hmm. And did we know that the laws of the universe is Islam?
Mm-hmm.
Islam is the rules of the universe from the divine creator. We also wanted to know, how did our creator create all this marvelous, magnificent we see
Man.
called creation by men on these planes?
Oh, yes.
It tells us Allah created all this in mind.
Yeah.
In mind.
Mm.
All the laws. So we can't escape using our mind. Even to not use it, you have to use it.
That's right. That's right.
And as we see, all is in accord with the great Kabira Allah. The great Allah. Number 9 says a true test of a man is not what he does in public, but the true test is what he does in private.
How about that?
This is what's important. For Allah wants us all to see as servants of Allah. That what we doing behind closed doors is most important. Because it shows our devotion. And those who are devoted in private will be devoted in public. But those devoted in public and not devoted in private, that's hypocrisy.
Yeah.
That's not eternal love, and that's not the way of Allah. The way of Allah is eternal love, called the Al-Sufyan. The way of Allah. And so the way of Allah deals with respecting. So if we can't respect our Creator in all this magnificence, the wind, the rain, the sea, the air, the sun, the moon, the stars, the space itself that holds all these marvelous creations.
And it's just amazing how when we see like movie stars and people who wants to put on a show, they wants to be out in the what? The public.
The public.
And they think they got it going on, pleasing the public. Yeah. And that goes to show you right there. All that ain't nothing but vanity, because it ain't for Allah, but it's for the public to glorify you and look up to you and want you to sign autographs and all this, and this go for all entertainers, because that's all they want. That's why they want to be the GOAT. It's in the what? Public eye. So you could see just what's taking place here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they lost in the lower nav, in the lower nav.
Yep.
The nafis. It's real. Self has to learn that it has to sacrifice itself. This is what previous lessons about your consciousness.
Yep.
Your consciousness is an action. And so when we coming into the science of Allah, Allah has a certain way. Mm-hmm. It's not the way of others. Allah is self-existing. Allah is self-subsisting. Mm-hmm. Who gives us the life of breath. Right on. Who gives us the ability to live. Mm-hmm. And once we clean the soul from the filth of the body,
oh yeah,
by purifying the body, the soul stays itself pure. Mm-hmm. And so this is why in the practice of Al-Sufyan we have fasting, Al-Qawi. Every lover of Allah fasts. This is way of the prophets. This is not way of the merchants. You will never find the merchants fasting, but you will find the merchant merchandising. Mm-hmm. And merchandising the ways of Allah and bringing you forth into the ways of Jahannam. So Allah has created the way for all of us not to go to Jahannam, but to go into Jannah, paradise, al-Salam. And these are specific teachings. These words belong to Allah, because Allah has his way. And so the mighty prophets who walked in that path of knowledge left behind, just as Rasul, any Rasul of Allah, leaves behind the mighty blessings of Allah in the way of words that cannot have no mistake in them. And so as we read, how can anything have a mistake in it when Allah has created all in mind, not in body? Your first thought of when the Circle 7 say man is a thought of Allah. Well, when you use thought, where does that come from? It comes from your own mind. So that mind was given to you by the great Allah. And if we don't recognize this, then the path you recognize is Jahannam, which is the abyss. When we understand the path to the way is not the way to anything but eternal love, that Allah has nothing but eternal love in every action that Allah gives birth to. There's no evil in Allah. Allah is innocent of committing deliberate evil. It's those that who don't follow Allah have to answer to Allah. There's a word of afu, to pay homage or to obey Allah. This is what most have turned when they turn their path to the way of Shaitan. And 11 says that defeat is not worse. Even a Muslim don't have never can be fair weather. The holy man is sometimes defeated by himself. So when we are defeated, we must know that defeat is not the worst. The worst is cowardice to act against evil. That's the worst. Because if you don't act against evil, then you allow evil to come inside of you. And Allah does not want that. But if you wish that, it will be granted to you. All this is conducted by way of our mind. So acting against evil is courage. Never judge the actions of a man until you know his reason. Now these are lessons from Rasulullah, Prophet Muhammad al-Muqaddim. When we speaking about the prophet and the ways that they left behind for humanity and the laws they left for each and every one to be successful in life. But you cannot be successful in life without eternal love. Eternal love is always acting against the evil that's plagued upon himself and others. So we must ask reason before you assume anything. When dealing with another being in the way of Allah, the way of Allah shows you that you should know his reason. What is the reason you acted in such manner? 14 says it isn't what you have, but what you are that makes a true Muslim. So we're speaking about character. Many have objects. Many human beings now have many objects.
Many.
But these objects don't have any consciousness. Anything with consciousness has great character. And this is why Allah has the greatest of all character. And that is showed forth by giving birth to you. This is an act of Allah's eternal love to give you the ability to use your free will. You have a mind given to you by the great Creator. You have a soul given to you by the great Creator. In private, do you give any attention to these two aspects that was given to you from your Creator? Your Creator loves to speak to you from within. But you can't be spoken to if you have a crowd of intention burying or a crowd of influences coming at the mind. See, because Allah creates and communicates through mind. And you can't communicate with your own mind until you communicate through meditation. Muraqabah. Muraqabah is the science that Allah has given us through Rasulullah, Prophet Muhammad, in order to free ourselves from the dungeon of the body, from the objects and the concepts. And this is why we must understand that we don't judge a book by its cover, that we must know the reason. 15, it is easy to destroy a city. Let's not crawl over that one fast. It is easy to destroy a city. We have seen many historical cities fall. Why did these cities fall? Why did these kingdoms and these kings fall in the glories of the past? Well, it's due to lack of character. Because the more power and more control you have, the more responsibility you have. And the ones who are with Allah have the greatest responsibilities. Those who are not with Allah don't have those duties and those responsibilities because they are not inspired from the divine inspiration. And so it's easy to destroy the body. Shaitan has created many devices, many wicked objects for you to destroy yourself. Many types of food for you to become obese. Who's going to stop you? Shaitan is not going to stop you, but the wisdom of Allah will show you the way. And so those who deny the wisdom who framed this creation, we cannot understand ourselves if we deny the creation that we are in. 16 says, but it takes a true Muslim to build a great community. We're talking about action here. To do anything great, it's going to take a lot of your time. Because you don't get greatness out of a little bit of time. You get greatness out of putting a great amount of time. And so when you're building a community is supposed to be filled with love, eternal love. So this is the connection of the circle. The universe is the community that Allah has given all humanity. So no one in no area of life will suffer. Every space you cross, you can find Allah has planted a great living being in the presence. Is a community for the self? Or is a community for all? So when it comes to Allah represents all. So all are included with all law. So this is an understanding that has been misunderstood, that we have not given attention due to doctrines and ideologies coming from philosophies dealing with spiritual concepts, but not dealing with the action of life and the ways one is managing their character. As we know, thoughts are things, and things are built by character. So when we understand things are thoughts, you have thoughts. So you are beyond thoughts. But the only way you can discover this is by discovering Allah. Number 17 says, beware, beware. Neither a curse nor a strike in anger can be withdrawn. We're talking about, have you ever forgotten when someone did something to you? So take that in mind. When you do something to others, their memory is a bank. And so all actions are recorded by Allah. Your memory goes in your mind. And you have two types of memory. You have memory from mind and you have memory from body. So Allah has created us through the mind, and anything that Allah created in mind cannot be uncreated, meaning you are a memory of Allah. And so you will forever have every action. If every action in heaven is recorded, what you think about every action of your own being? Your own being is being recorded by the eye of Allah. (18) When preparing for battle, think with patience and act with haste. 19. The smallest good deed is better than the grandest intention. This is why you exist. You could have just been an intention. But this small great deed of birthing you into existence is better than just leaving you as a thought. Showing you that Allah exists. But if you don't exist, then you can't say that Allah don't exist. There is no existence without the great creator who created all things of existence. Al-Fatiha. The Fatiha is the word for existence. Who brought everything into existence? Number 20. All actions may be judged by the motive prompting them. All actions may be judged by the motive prompting them. Meaning, if you are moving in the physical body, your mind moves before your physical body. So your mind is prompting all your physical actions. And without understanding the mental aspect of self, then one is only excluded to the identity of the body. And this is not part of the teachings of Allah. Allah said you are spirit, you are soul, and your soul is immortal. And no one knows the riddle of the soul but Allah himself. So this grand experience that we are having and sharing with others called life is for a purpose and for a reason. 21 brings a man without conscience is lost. Not the man with money. Not the man with valuable objects. The big house. The many wives. But we talking about a man without conscience. Is lost. So we know that Allah lives in our conscience. And the conscience is the faculty of knowing. So when you hear the attribute of all knowing, that comes from conscious. The great Al-Mu'id as the third name of Allah. So we lose our way by understanding the world we in. We gain our way by understanding the consciousness we are. There's always going to be forces pulling. There's going to be forces pushing. There's going to be forces picking you up. There's going to be forces picking you down. But the consciousness does not move. The consciousness is as stationary as meditation. So knowing this is who you are silence that can birth into reality the word or sound or consciousness. Where were you before you awakened today? Before you became awakened, where were you? This is the difference between a man without consciousness and a man with consciousness. Allah give us the ability to awaken. This is a part of the gift of consciousness, wakefulness, being able to engage in life, engage with your thoughts, engage with your feelings, engage with the eternal love in the presence of Almighty Allah. Allah says to us to know what is right and to fail to act is as grave as a false action. Is that not being as perfect as your master in heaven? Your creator creates perfection. Your creator created you in perfection. You have to understand we are all a unique collective consciousness that can become aware. So you have the ability to turn yourself on and off. You can go to sleep and you can come awake. That's what we call off and on. Allah is always on like the sunlight. This is why the noblest image of our Creator is the sun. Because unlike the moon, it stays whole. And this is the eternal love that it will never go through cycles. The moon represents the physical body. You always going through cycles, ups and downs, turning lefts and rights, going ins and outs. That is representation of the moon. But when your heart, when you illuminate like the sun, your sun become a heart. And this is love divine pushing out like the sun pushes out its sunlight for all to be warm. So this is why in Al-Sufyan Islam, the way of Allah is a still mind and a warm heart. A warm heart is equivalent to a great day of sunshine. So from within, can you raise your own sun? You can see the external sun, but can you see your sun? And can you raise that to infinite wisdom into expressing eternal love? And that feels like eternal gentleness. This is the actions of Allah. 24 reminds us, when a man is at peace with his conscience, he has no real enemy.
enemy within.
The enemy. The N in me.
In me.
Listen to it carefully. The enemy, the N in me. See, some thoughts you didn't birth into your own creation. Some thoughts was forced into your mind. Like go through the back door. Like you not allowed here. Is that an act of eternal love? So any fourth or any being who bring forth a doctrine out of that action, is that a man with conscience? Is self-hate a form of consciousness? As we know, we read in the gens, the voice of self-hate, of unreason, and the voice of ignorance. And the Al-Jabbar is the messengers of the divine, the voice of reason, eternal love, and everything that is lawful and good for you. This is where we should want to be when we come to at oneness with Allah. To be at oneness with Allah is to be at oneness with your conscience. The conscience has no enemy. Only falsehoods birth enemies. The moon body, the moon head, the moon rock. These things is govern the head. The head should be a clean space. So Allah can communicate. But if your head space is not clean, then your heart is not clean. The mind is fed from the heart. And if the heart is full of sunshine, then the sky shall be bright and a beautiful day. But if there's clouds coming from the heart, then the sunshine shall be blocking, and it shall be an overcast by the mind, and the mind shall be clouded, blocking your true self. This consciousness. 25 alerts us to a person who relieves a person from distress in this world. All law will in like manner relieve you in this world and in the next.
Beautiful.
Isn't this the God that everybody worship? The God of love? The God that cares about every human soul, every living thing, seen and unseen? There's no jealousy with Allah. Allah created all things in existence. Allah is self-existent. The universe exists by way of not Allah. The existence exists by way of us. Allah will forever exist. But will you forever exist? Because the planet is bound by your collective choice of every human on this space of the earth. This is what we call the collective choice. Do we all want earth to live and thrive? Or do y'all want to destroy it like those who want to travel to another planet?
Ain't satisfied with this. Ain't pleased. And I would just like to say to 25 that I have observed the people in this society, they love to bring distress upon you. That's what makes them happy. When you look at the people who are burdened down with taxes, burdened down with prices, burdened down with rent, burdened down whatever you can think of. This is the merchant and the money lenders and the politician who likes to put all this stress upon you. And this what the society today, that this all they like to produce. All levels, state, federal, and government. They love to put stress on you. They love to destroy families and make family miserable. They get their jollies off doing that. But payday is coming.
Yes. And payday will come from Allah's servants. The servants will give you the blessings of Allah so you can save yourself from these tyrants who will keep increasing burdens.
Yes, indeed.
They will keep increasing the path of the dunya.
Yeah.
They want to see the nafis, the lower self, destroy itself.
Yep.
They want to see the murky ethers of the lower self pull your higher self down to the lower self. Remember, the moon has no light. It gets its light from the sun. Remember, the body is unconscious. It gets its light from consciousness. This voice you hear speaking to you is from consciousness. It's not from the body. This is the same voice that was birthed from heaven. Each soul that came to earth was birthed from heaven. Did you lose your way, or did you find your way back to the Creator, what we call home? It's your choice down here to live the life of a jinn or to live the life of an angel. As I finish up, 27, he who shall do good to those in need. Allah will do good to him in this world and the next.
Oh, yes.
See, so it don't have to be based on a community. The community is based upon self.
That's right.
It's each self that comes together that forms a community. A community is built from a forming of families loving families.
Yes, indeed.
When families love families, then we can have a community.
Beautiful.
But we can't have a community of love when families are filled with hate. When selves in family are pushing life to evil. This is about self doing good to others. Is the taxpayer receiving any good from the tax slayer? The tax slayer is the one who convinces the taxpayer. He's slaying the soul through the soul having to go work through something that Allah has already given to all from the blessed wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the things that was given to us in his way, the al-Sufyan. And as we study, as it is told for us, study is a name of Allah. So when Noble Drew Ali told the people of America to study, 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 and when he brought the teachings of Jesus to the people of America, he brought the teachings of what Jesus was teaching. And Jesus wasn't teaching that he was God. He was teaching that it was another who is God. And all these teachings has been came and resurfaced. So the choice is up to you. Do you want to just live in this world? Or do you want to be able to live in this world and the next? Remember, and the next. So just like you go from 11th grade to 12th grade, you go from this world to another world. Another world. Isn't that amazing? This is a reward. This is a promise. Promised by our Creator. That if you do the way of Allah called al-Sufyan. Al-Sufyan is salam. That you are guaranteed to never die. And it's all on you once it's been revealed to you for you to pick it up. You picked up the cheeseburger. You picked up a job. You picked up stress. So now why not pick up the blessings of Allah's wisdom and now convert yourself to the understanding of Allah's wisdom? That is called Allah Hakimah. It's a specific wisdom. It's not earthly. It's Allah's Hakimah. And as I finish my last two, 29, be persistent in good actions.
That's sweet it is.
Yes. There was a parable. A man came to Esau. That is our name for Jesus over in the al-Sufyan. A man came to Esau and said, "You, my Lord, are good. How should I enter the kingdom?" And Esau said, "Who you call good? There's only one who is good. There's only one who is good. And that's Allah Sufyana." This is the one way. The one way that is good. Good for the soul, like good tasting food. We're not limited over here. We have a full spectrum. We respect all wise knowledge. But we don't respect make believe. We don't got to make nothing up when you have the teachings and the wisdom and the knowledges from the Creator given to us by Prophet Sufyan Muhammad, who left us the way of Allah and the way to Allah and how to return to Allah. This is why Jesus said that it was going to be a one that came after. And we still haven't caught the drift due to the Christian doctrine. And so we have to understand things have been corrupted.
Bad.
And so if you can't find no evidence, then there's no proof. So if you can't find evidence that the Gospels was a part of historical accounts, then you can't consider that doctrine to be 100% truth. So, as I finish my last statement, number 30, it is your own conduct. It is your own circle which will lead you to reward or punishment.
Uh-oh. Reward or punishment?
And that's R. Rakil. The watchful. The action. So it is our own conduct that's going to determine where you go. How you live determines where you go. And as the message morally states, that it's about the moral conscience for any self to be at peace. And to be at peace is to have no enemy. Nothing in you that's causing you to be anger, upset, sad, wounded, suffering. Any form of suffering is not from Allah. Allah has sent down the Al-Sufyan for no suffering. To end all suffering, as Abraham ended all sacrifices of blood and human sacrifices. So there's no more suffering. So if you suffering, that is because of you believe in sin. And if you believe in sin, that is the form of why you are suffering. Allah didn't create any creation in sin. Unless you're talking about in a center. Because Allah is always in the center, just like the heart is in the center. But if you're talking about persisting in bad actions, that in relation, that is called sin. Then Allah did not create that. A group of spirits who lost their faith and created lesser gods, lesser demons, and lesser spirits pretending to be God. And this was done by the priesthood. And so this is why the cleanup has to be done, because the priesthood murky the body. Made people identify with the body, and they cannot survive if they don't have a body. So in conclusion, in Allah's wisdom, we must remind ourselves that it is our own conduct that will reward us or that will punish us. I close in the name of Allah.